Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Giani kitchen one more time. I hope that everybody's Thanksgiving with friends and family was fantastic. So now that Thanksgiving is behind us, turkey time, we're going to concentrate. We're going to have fun actually cooking some stuff for Christmas. And one of the things that I really would like to start is actually in a very humble way. Since we are celebrating Christ's life on earth, and the whole season is based on that, really, I like to invite everybody to actually do cod in a very simple way. So, why cod? Well, one of the reasons it's because I want to go back to Israel and start to do a dish the way that Jesus and the disciple and his friends and family might have actually cooked it and enjoy it using, after doing some research, some of the ingredients that they had 2,000 years ago in Israel. But at the same time, we're going to do the cod, celebrating it like we do in Italy, starting the holidays with the seven fish dish and stuff like that, right up to the last night of Jesus' birth and stuff like that. So we can do all that, but at the same time, I like to actually start in a very humble way to cook cod. I could have chosen tilapia, but at the same time, I know that they were actually fishing for saltwater fish at the same time that they were fishing for freshwater fish in the lake. So basically, this is what I did after doing some research. So we know very well that in Israel 2,000 years ago, they had fennel. So they cooked with fennel. They had olive oil, which is in that pan. They had garlic. And what I did is that I chopped my fennel, quarter it, and I didn't blanch. I just put straight fennel in there because it's got a lot of flavor. Now, I'm going to take some rosemary and I'm going to just peel it off the twigs, just like that, and scatter it a little bit all over the dish. Keep it very simple, very similar the way that they used to do it back then. All right, I'm going to take some garlic because we had some garlic also. And the tomatoes that you see right there are actually from South Asia. Those baby grape tomatoes that everybody think that they're coming from Europe or the Americas, they actually came from the southern part of Asia. And if we're understanding the location of Israel in the world, it's actually centered in the center of the world, meaning that anybody from Asia or Europe, all the merchants that would travel from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere had to go through Israel to actually wander and do commerce, or by the ocean too, by the Mediterranean as well. This is the reason why, with the inclusion of salt mines that we had in Israel, that we actually had some pretty good, decent cooking. So I got some kosher salt that I'm going to actually use, which is actually coming from a mine. Obviously, I'm going to use some black pepper that came from the Asian, the Orient, and then just because we were actually cooking it, the fish basically in a brick oven or some kind of earthly oven. So what I'm going to do, I got right there what we actually call some ash oil, and I'm going to show you how to get to that. So I got some cod, and then I'm going to actually stick it right into this pan, just like, back in those times they might have done it. And just for the flavor, I'm going to put some ash oil all over, and that's just to give it a smoky flavor as well, to imitate a little bit the way that he might have cooked in those earthly oven back in Jesus' time. So what we're going to do, we're going to take that, and then we're going to put some herbs, because all of those local herbs used to grow all the Mediterranean herbs that I'm talking about, that it's like in Italy or France in Provence, all of that is actually herbs from the Mediterranean, all the way from Israel and the north part of Africa. So we're going to stick that in the oven, and then we are going to start the second part of this dish. That's going to be a fancier way of doing cod in Italy, merluzzo. Merluzzo alla pomodorini. Okay, so this is what we're going to do for that. So, pomodorini, again, just as I said, it came from South Asia. So now what we're dealing with is that I took a whole tray filled of those grape tomato, and we're going to actually do an entire tomato sauce based on that. So you put like a good amount of olive oil right in there. And then I'm going to put some fennel in there for the flavors. I'm going to put some greens, a little bit of the whole parts of the fennel. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some basil and I'm going to put it all over the place. So that is a true pomodorini sauce. Black olives all over that dish. All right. And I'm going to take, so instead of like chopping the garlic, I actually shredded the garlic. So the water mostly can evaporate quicker. And also have some regular chopped garlic. I'm going to put it in there. And then I'm going to take some herbs of Provence and put a good amount everywhere. I'm going to take some tomato paste, 3 big tablespoons for that amount, and I'm going to stick it right in there. And then what I'm going to do to it is basically mix it all in, just like that. You don't have to be super precise because it's going to do its own magic in the oven. But a little bit of fennel that you're putting in there, trust me, it's going to put some magic into the flavors, and we're going to create a tomato sauce from scratch based on these baby tomatoes. All right, some salt in there. I'm going to put some black pepper. And I'm going to take a little bit of bone marrow that's been actually melted down, and I'm going to stick it right in there. I'm going to stick this in the oven for 20-25 minutes, and basically you cannot leave the kitchen. What happens is that I'm going to like check them out after 15, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I got the oven on at 400 degrees, and I'm going to take them out. And then after that, we're going to finish our merluzzo, which is cod in Italian, done in a fancy way for that time of the year, for the holidays. So we'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, so now that we are actually trying to finish the Jesus plate. So it was in the oven for actually 15 minutes at 400. And you can see that I put some cod in there with the herbs, with the, what they call in Italian, the pomodorini, which is the grape tomatoes with the fennel. And then we did some capers, and basically that might have been what actually, in the time of Jesus, what they actually might have eat. Those are the ingredients after doing some thorough research that you know, they might have actually add. So we're talking about cod. And again, one of the reasons why I chose cod instead of tilapia, it's because, well, Israel was known to be a passageway for a lot of tradesmen, and at the same time, a lot of arts and a lot of nation wanted to be part of Israel. But on top of that, it was a little bit of the center of the world there. And they had salt mine as well. And everybody did actually love to actually put salt on food. So being a crossroad between Europe and Asia, let's assume that that might have been very, very close to a very humble way of cooking fish in the times of Jesus with the herbs, the capers. They also had some black olives and the fennel. And you're talking about I mean, I wish that you were over here to actually smell it. And it really smells like a true Mediterranean dish, basically. And this was also on the outside, on the eastern side of the Roman Empire. And this is actually some of the food that they actually would actually eat, with the exception that they were so good, those dishes, that they actually made it through in Italy up to this time. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to cook merluzzo, cod, the same way that I did with that dish, but we're going to do it the fancy way. The way that it's, well, a little more fancy, the way it's done in Italy today. So what I did is that I pretty much gonna keep the same dish, and I'm going to take two nice really pieces of cod, which I'm going to salt, pepper. All right, I got some fine grated herbs of Italy in it, and the only thing I'm going to do different is that that beautiful dish of those tomatoes that I actually put in. Well, what we're going to do is that, let's check it out. We're going to crush them to make a puree out of it. And we're going to cook this cod into this beautiful Italian Pomodoro authentic sauce with the crushed garlic and with the concentrate paste of tomatoes, the fennel. I can even tell you how good it smells in my kitchen, and I wish that all of you could be right here with us for the holidays. And that might actually come in the future. We are working on that. But I'm going to cook that fish in that tomato sauce. And in the meantime, I'm going to show you what I did with the ash oil and different things, because you know that I love to talk about things. All right, so let's get organized. Right over here. This, we're going to cover it. Right over here. So this is a dish in Italy that can actually be served with pasta, vegetables, and different things. But so what I did is actually, I did actually make some tortellini, and um, what I'm going to do with that, as the fish is cooking, all right, I'm going to take those tortellini that I made al dente, barely al dente, because it really doesn't take a lot of time to cook fish. I'm just going to like put it right in there, and I'm going to mix everything with the tortellini. Why did I choose the tortellini? It's very simple. It's because by the shape of the tortellini, you're going to notice that it's got cracks. The sauce, every pasta in Italy is designed a specific way for different reasons. But if you're looking at, and they all mean that they come from a different region at the same time. But the beauty of all of them, that it is tortellini like that, or rigatoni, the shape of it, is that in the country of spaghetti or different other ones, they are designed somehow to trap the sauces. And tortellini, if you're looking at the design of the tortellini, now I'm going to cook that fish in there, and it's going to cook really fast. Fish, really, it doesn't take long to cook. I'm going to cover it. Now, if you're taking the shape of those tortellini, and you're going to notice all of the little cracks and the way that it's bent, and the sauce, the fish sauce in that particular dish, it's going to get into the cracks. So now that I made that pasta al dente, and I tried to like pull it off away a little bit before it said, I'm going to finish it off and mix it with the fish sauce. For this particular dish, with the fish sauce, it's just going to like be amazing to have those, all of that basil and those herbs infiltrate right in the cracks of the pasta. And this makes the difference between spaghetti, tortellini, rigatoni. Every mouthful is a mouthful of flavor that's concentrated. Now, rigatoni, for example, you're looking at it completely different than tortellini, but it's shaped a little bit like a tunnel, like a pipe. Now, when you're cooking it and you're mixing it with the sauces, you have the sauces, all the meat juice, they're actually going into there. And so like when it's in your mouth, and with every bite that you're taking, you're crunching on the sauces as well as the pasta. And this is something that you cannot duplicate if you're cooking potatoes, or if you're cooking maybe cauliflower. And I got some cauliflower that I did some with green beans there that you can actually serve hot or cold. You can serve it with a white balsamic sauce dressing or not. But now you're talking about the shape of the vegetable itself with all the cracks around the cauliflower. And if you're doing it al dente also and you finish them off at the last minute with whatever plate you're doing, or you're just including some sauce over it, then that sauce is going to get into the cracks. And that's going to make the difference between that and some other kind of vegetables that don't have the difference of design by nature. And that's the beauty of a little bit of a studying of what we're cooking with makes a big difference. So also, I wanted to talk to you about this ash oil. Now, any kind of onion peel, or if you have some green beans, what kind of vegetables you've got, that's like, the ends of it or the skin of onions and stuff like that. What I'll do with it is that sometimes I throw them away. Otherwise, I don't throw them away. I put them in a pan, and that goes in the oven for 500 minimum. And then you're burning the skin of the onions and the few other vegetables that you got in there. I put them in a blender, and I shred everything up. I put some salt in it, and then I add some olive oil to it. And this is the concoction that you end up having, ash oil. And it's an old-fashioned thing. And what it is that it's actually used as a finishing dressing, or when you want to give it like a smoky taste, then you just put a drizzle on that, and you can put a drizzle on vegetables as well, cold vegetables or hot vegetables, and you just transform the flavor. So it's very easy to do, but I think it's a good way of making use of some wasted skin, basically. All right, so what I'll do is that at this point, I'm going to add a layer of balsamic glaze all over it. And if you've seen my previous video on everything that I do, traveling in France, traveling in Italy, a little bit all over the place years ago, I just love those dishes and those particular things, products that behave in different parts of Italy, that it is balsamic glaze from Modena, for example, or you got like a fig glaze. I mean, the whole Italy has all kinds of different things. So between the capers, the black olives, and all of this very good for you stuff, like those glazes, those balsamic vinegar, check it out. It's unbelievably good for you. Very ancient. It just stirs up all the enzymes, and this is the kind of stuff that the kind of like food that we need to go back to, basically. And what we got here is that now look at that. Look how beautiful. So I'll have a piece of cod right there with the black olives, and I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous at this point. So to the side of it, I'm going to serve this beautiful pasta, tortellini, with a little bit of fennel. All right. And obviously, it's going to have the flavors of the tomato sauce in it. But what a beautiful combination of dishes for Christmas. And the list is long. I mean, we can do all kinds of stuff for Christmas. But there is something that I love about the dish, that obviously it can be coming from different parts of Italy. And you're talking about, if you just could smell those flavors are amazing. And also what I like to do is take a little bit of lemon, but like a little zest of lemon, not much, all over it. Same for the pasta, because now what we're talking about is a fish dish that the combination of black olives, capers, pomodorini, tomatoes, and then I put like a little bit of a glaze of balsamic at the end. It's got the fennel, the flavors of the fennel, the herbs, the Italian herbs or the herbs of Provence, it doesn't matter. They're the same latitude. And now look at the tortellini. They are completely infused. And this is what I love about that I struggle in my cooking is look at that. These tortellinis are basically completely infused in all the cracks with those that sauce. So every bite that you're going to take is going to be absolutely amazing. So now we did the Jesus plate, and we did the way that we cook one of the way that we cook merluzzo pomodini in Italy, and this is one of my take on one of the fish dish, and we got plenty of fish dish to do for Christmas, and by adding that ash olive also all over the dish, it's just like making it old fashioned, a little bit like it was cooked over wood fire, but it's a very subtle uh, taste basically, but you're gonna feel just a little tiny bit of everything. So on this note, until our next video, please subscribe. Thank you for your support and enjoy the holidays.